وصفم لاندي باندي دا عشنا ببيلتانا دا عشنا ببيلتانا قرزمنا قرار لك سوي بروانا لك سوي بروانا وصفم لاندي باندي دا عشنا ببيلتانا دا عشنا ببيلتانا قرزمنا قرار لك سوي بروانا لك سوي
Once upon a time in Central Asia, there was a land of great beauty that could not remain pure in the hearts of men. It was invaded by the greatest empires. Warlords killed each other to possess it. The mountains and the deserts were red with the blood of the warriors. In a single century, 12 kings were assassinated or dethroned. The last of them, a Caliph and holy man, was said to be the most tyrannical of them all. He imprisoned or killed all who would not submit to his yoke. Adulterous women were stoned. It was even said that he ripped the painted fingernails from little girls. A leaden blanket of religion covered the land. But the day this war touched the heart of the capital of the New World, an army of white men was unleashed. It liberated the people, cleared the God fanatics out of the country, and their shadowy leader, Mullah Omar, disappeared. One day, 3 women, also from the West, and fascinated by the enigma of this man with the heart of stone, decided to set out in search of him. Today, it's very rare to find any Afghan who has been closely acquainted with Mullah Omar. They have either been or or A handful of survivors are still in Kabul, the Afghan capital. They are the former officials of the Taliban regime. They keep a very low profile these days, unless you speak the magic words, Mullah Omar.
Sorry, we have to put a mic on you.
Go ahead. I'm used to it. Mullah Omar never wanted to become king or take power. He wanted to restore peace to the country, impose Islamic law, and get rid of evil. He listened carefully to people's opinions. When people asked him for advice, he listened first, then he took the time to consider, so as to take the best decision for the country, the population, and his friends.
Is Mullah Omar a wise man? I have written, read, spoken his name hundreds of times, and yet I know nothing about him. It's ridiculous. For years we've been kicking around Afghanistan. Leslie, behind the camera, Bet, who's been working for 2 years on a biography of the mullah, and me. So, we've decided to really get into his world, even into the most dangerous regions of Afghanistan. To get to know him, we have to be prepared to have our convictions shaken.
With your hijabs, you look even more veiled than Afghan women. It's funny. My name is Wakil Ahmad Mutawakil. I come from the province of Kandahar. I started as Director of Information and Culture under the Taliban regime. Then I became the regime's advisor. And finally, I was Taliban Foreign Minister. Mullah Omar is a very gentle, loyal man. He was very generous, a true friend.
Very few men know his true face. The Taliban leader has managed to remain anonymous for 20 years by keeping away from cameras. And yet there are pictures around, many syndicated by the world's press, others used by the American government to put a price on his head.
We have these photos. Perhaps you could tell us which ones are genuine.
That's not Mr. Omar. That one is Mr. Omar. This one, yes. The photo was taken in secret. This is not him. Nor is this. At that time, he was neither on television nor photographed. So when I had new clothes, people mistook me for him and came to kiss my hand as a mark of respect. I said, I'm not Mullah Omar, I'm not one-eyed. He was born in Nauda, near Kandahar.
His birthplace, the first concrete clue. We set off for the south of Afghanistan, a 600-kilometer flight from Kabul to Kandahar, the town founded by Alexander the Great. Today it symbolizes something else. Mullah Omar ruled there from 1996 to 2001. It's the cradle of the Taliban movement. Let's continue to go back in time. Mohammed Omar Hotaki is thought to have been born there in about 1960.
Okay, there's not a detailed map, huh? No. This is the road. And this is the road. See?
Yeah.
And then I would suggest to take this one. So we need to basically go to a road that goes to Mach 1.
Mach 1.
Let me make a picture of this.
Should be okay, it's very close to the... Maybe there is road
Maybe.
to Naude.
Sure, it would be great.
It's much closer.
That would be great, but there is no road on the map. So
Maybe it's not too much detailed, because it's all desert. They might have tracked all over the
People
desert.
know it.
it's covering. I thought men want us to cover.
It's not your burqa. Is it?
These burqas are very handy. They get us out of Kandahar unnoticed. We're heading blindly for the village of Naude, where it all began.
Mullah Omar came in. An impressive figure in the sense that he's a very tall man with a huge beard, not only long beard, but also a beard that reaches him almost to the eyes. He was wearing what I suspect one could call a Kandahari robe, which only reached him just below the knees, and he was bare-legged and barefooted when he came in.
This group came out, and Mullah Omar was among them. There was nothing to distinguish him from any of the other Taliban. He didn't stand separately from them. They didn't defer to him. He didn't. I think he was. I can't remember whether he came in front of them or behind them. But there was no sense in which he was anything other than a first among equals in a very egalitarian movement.
Whatever charisma he might have did not come through when he spoke. It might have come through his presence.
He did not talk much about his family, but he did say that he belonged to a very poor family. And I asked that, I want to see your house, your mosque. And he said, "No, Mr. Yusuf Zai from the BBC wants to see my house. Have I become so important?" He says, "My house is very small. My mosque is made of mud."
Did you ever be here when it was raining? Never.
Okay, maybe my mosque is there.
When we get to the village where Mullah Omar was born, I'm uneasy. The people are very poor here. In their place, I'd think 3 Western women are worth their weight in gold. The head of the village is quite happy to welcome us.
Can you make it a little bit in a joke, maybe? But the legend goes that M.O. is from here, that he was born in one of these houses.
This is not his village. This is Naudi. His is, what is it now? Nauda. Yes, that's it, Nauda.
Were the Americans also once knocking on the door here and saying, "Hey, we're looking for the most wanted terrorist"?
Of course. The Americans came and questioned our old men. Even you, didn't they? We told them it was the other Nauda. Of course, they asked us. Oh, okay. It's my turn to make a joke. My mother believes that Obama lives in a village near here. Why? Because everyone has dark skin there.
Welcome to the labyrinth of oral culture. There are 3 villages of the same name in Kandahar province. So we're going to try the one that's on the other side of town, through one of the Taliban's bastions. Mullah Omar's men have been waging a bloody rebellion against Western soldiers and the Afghan army for more than a decade.
This might result in something, Sharif. This feels good. These people...
Yeah.
We have a quiet room.
Yeah.
Would you be able to point his house where he was living, Mullah Omar's father?
No, I don't know where his house is. You know, the people went off to work a long way away. To Pakistan, to Kabul, to the big cities. But his father was buried in our cemetery. Really? That's what everyone says, yes. That Mullah Omar's father is buried here. He came with members of his cabinet. There were 6 or 7 cars parked over there at the entrance. I reckon those people were taking part in a meeting. I never found out whether he stopped at a particular tomb or not. Did he come often? Oh, yes, every Thursday.
Mohammed Omar was orphaned at the age of 3.
When we went to the cemetery, he told me that one of the tombs was his father's. But he didn't know which one, because there was no name. How many times did he tell me that he'd gone to look for it, but had never found it? He loved his father, like we all do. He had a great affection for him. It really upset him that he had departed so soon, that he died so young.
Illness, murder, the doubt persists. Even Bet, the specialist, hasn't been able to reconstitute the facts.
It's a mysterious death, because the family, immediately after the death of Mullah Omar's father, his family left. And sort of like, it seems like they fled the village. It doesn't seem that there was so much reason to leave. But they did, and they did go to an area where they knew nobody. Do you think, I mean, is there any news, like security-wise, or is it calming down now? Let's see, yeah, good. Our flight is at 9 o'clock.
It'll be the plane then.
Yeah.
The long hours on the road don't worry us, but the improvised bombs or the Taliban roadblocks are a different matter. Uruzgan province is well off the beaten track, lost in the middle of the country. Mullah Omar lived here from the age of 3 to about 20. Supposing he came back here to hide, the Dera Wood district is particularly remote.
Can you imagine we're gonna find him? Can you imagine we're gonna find him? He can, yeah, that's true.
When we arrive, only the police are prepared to give us lodging. Bet's key contact is supposed to join us there. Let's hope he doesn't feel insulted or threatened. Kudus possibly supports the Taliban. He's a childhood friend of Mullah Omar.
Assalamu alaikum. Salam. Salam alaikum. Senga, Julia.
We saw a lot of each other in those days. We played together. We were mates, in fact. He was a fighter then, you see. He had arguments with his mother, with his uncle, even with me, with everyone. When he was in a good mood, he was the funniest of all of us. One evening, he brought home a dog, a bitch on heat, to his uncle's house. His uncle, the mullah. And the mullah came out furious. He said to me, "Go and get me a stick. I'm going to punish Omar." I asked him why. He said, "My house is full of dogs." You understand, a bitch on heat. Then Omar arrived and he said to me, "Don't give it to him or he'll beat me." You see, he played that kind of joke when he was young.
Is it possible that we go to the Tangi with the 3 of us in the burqa?
Ah, no, impossible. They're all Taliban.
So 1 second.
Our main witness isn't going to stay long around the police, nor be seen with Westerners. He won't take us to his village, no way.
So the Taliban were and are a very strange group, and they're like a closed brotherhood. You basically have to have gone to particular madrasas to be part of that fraternity. And particularly at that point in Afghanistan, where you didn't have internet, you didn't have TV, you had radio, and that was about it.
The Taliban probably were demonized to an extent that made it awkward subsequently in terms of those who argued about the need to come to terms with them, and insufficiently recognized as an expression of Afghan society. Maybe, not the most important one or not the most likable one, but they are a legitimate expression of Afghanistan's historic experience, of its culture.
We're still in the province of Uruzgan, with a new trail, a tribal chief that Bet has met before. Confidence is mutual. Kader Hadari agrees to take us to Mullah Omar's village.
Where's the driver?
You don't have your burqa. You took the wrong
burqa.
She has yours. It's so short.
I didn't notice. so funny. Oh my God.
Because of obscure power struggles, Haidari has chosen to oppose the Taliban. He still has a number of bullets in his body. But before, he was one of their most fervent supporters. Haidari remembers Mullah Omar very well, one of the local lads. Was there fighting here during the jihad?
There was fighting everywhere.
Was Mullah Omar there?
I'll show you. Over there.
Okay.
He had this road built afterwards.
As a teenager, Mohammed Omar followed in the footsteps of his late father. He wanted a peaceful, rewarding career as a teacher of Islam. But when he was about 18, in 1979, history changed his life.
The Soviet Union has without doubt just embarked upon the most massive military engagement it has undertaken outside Warsaw Pact countries since the end of the Second World War. To overcome as fast as possible and by whatever means the resistance of Afghan rebels is the objective that Moscow seems to have in mind. But this hasn't taken into account the strength of Islam. In this province of the country, the Soviets are coming up against strong resistance from the Muslim rebels.
He told me that I am a Talib and a Mujahid. He wanted to be known as Muhammad Umar Mujahid. Mujahid means holy warrior, the one who is fighting jihad. So he said, I'm not a mullah, because mullah is the one who is qualified as a religious scholar. But he said, you know, I was studying in a madrasa, I was a talib, a student, but, you know, because of circumstances, I could not complete my education. He said, I thought the bigger priority is to fight for your country.
In this remote village, in Uruzgan, Omar took up weapons for the first time. Like our host, Haidari, he was barely an adult. People grow up quickly in Afghanistan. Violence has always been part of the scenery, but the belligerents are no longer the same. As the Americans are withdrawing, the Afghans are killing each other to gain power.
There's no problem. No need to be afraid. Come on, come on.
It's just a little weird when our driver is trying to give me a pistol and said, just take the pistol, it's better.
Wait, why did
I said, no.
These sounds you have to...
Come on, there's no problem. Don't worry. If the Taliban come, we'll defend you with our lives.
Who's fighting?
The Taliban. I don't know them. They're on the other side of the river.
Do you remember Mullah Omar as a kuchinai here? As a person?
I remember him very well. We were in the same madrasa. He must have been my age, give or take a year or two.
Can you remember the first time you saw him?
I was young in those days. He was forever on the move from one place to another, because he had no home. One day here, the next day there. Because his uncle was a mullah, they turned up from the middle of the district and they rented a piece of land.
Did they get on well together?
Their relationship was nothing to do with us. But when we saw how they behaved, we started to wonder. There was a sort of unease. In public, they pretended to get on well, but we soon saw that deep down, they didn't like each other.
Mullah Omar's family home is a few hundred meters away, just near the front line.
Is it this house? Yes, that's the one.
Go inside and meet the women so that they do not.
How many people live here?
Here. 5.
5, okay.
5 people. I have a son, 2 daughters, and their mother. I've just one son.
Was this Mullah Omar's house? I don't know. We weren't there at the time of Mullah Omar.
Mullah Omar came here. His uncle rented the land. He built a house, then he went off to Kandahar.
His family certainly lived here, yes, but it seems that after he was 12, he didn't live here anymore.
In fact, when he arrived here, he went straight away to live in our madrasa.
Was he angry with his father?
Well, his father was dead, and his mother had then remarried his uncle. That's the story. He was unhappy that his mother remarried.
Okay, I understand. He wasn't happy when she got remarried to his uncle.
To his uncle, yes.
So as not to leave a widow alone, she had to marry the dead man's brother, a strange Afghan tradition. I understand better now why Mullah Omar banned this when he came to power. As a teenager, he became the black sheep of the family. So it's not surprising that he made friends at the madrasa, alongside whom he fought the Russians. It was his second family.
He slept in this room. We spent time together here and in the next room.
What were they doing here exactly?
We used to rest. It was the Mujahideen's base. We put down our weapons. That was the time of the jihad against the Soviets. We spent a lot of time together. He would come and go. We shared our meals. It was a very nice time. He didn't come just once, but dozens of times. I trusted him. We got on well. He was a very good wrestler too, and thrower. Do you want to see?
So they can show us the stone.
You get hold of it and you throw it over there. Get out of the way, kids. Get out of the way. This is how Mullah Omar would throw.
Did Mullah Omar really throw like that?
Yes. We played other games too. Here, pass me your marbles. There are 2, one here and another there. There are 2. Don't move them. I'm going to throw from here, look. It's interesting. I have trouble getting down because of my injuries. Look, this is how we did it. I'm going to throw one marble alongside the other. and I'll play in place of the other person. And I throw. Now I'm going to throw your marble second. Great. I finished. I beat everyone. Omar played like that. Come on, let's go and have some tea.
Warriors playing children's games. Even though I've lived 6 years in this country, I'm still intrigued by this unexpected innocence. Unloved, in search of a paternal figure, Omar wanted to make his mark in the fight against the Soviets. At the age of 20, he left the forgotten province of Uruzgan with his commander and a handful of friends, all of them students of religion. Mullah Omar went back to Kandahar, as are we. In the middle of the 1980s, the province was shaken by intense fighting. Omar proved his worth. Bet has found a first-hand witness. Dr. Balak was the doctor of his group of student combatants.
So we can ask directly?
Yeah, directly, yeah.
Okay, so that's the first time he met him?
He had a bullet in the abdomen. It was in the village of Sangisar. That night I came to take the bullet out. I knew him mainly during the war. I saw him fire with my own eyes when he attacked a tank. He was wounded in the eye. The eyeball came out in the middle of the battle. It was during the fighting. I saw him grab the eye like this and tear it out and throw it away.
Just one question: when he has him smiling or
joking?
I only saw him laugh once, when he shot down a MiG to avenge the death of 2 of his friends.
We are inexorably drawn towards Sangisar, but we mustn't delay. We're told that all the inhabitants support the Taliban. Sangisar is the mythical village on the edge of Kandahar where Mullah Omar created his movement. He settled there when he was fighting the Soviets.
This was his mosque. He was with friends and another mullah. And then during the war...
But what did he do? How did he live exactly? Can you show us?
He washed himself there, did his ablutions, and he sat in this room.
Here, really?
Yes. He gave his lessons here, sitting surrounded by his students. It was the jihad at that time. Either he went off to battle, if there was one, or he led the prayers because he was our imam. Come on, Hasham. We were bombarded 75 times one day. May God hang me if I'm lying. The door and the windows of the mosque were shattered everywhere. When I got out, I could hardly see my hands. There was so much dust. The street was covered with debris.
But did he relax sometimes?
Of course, with the pots. He'd bang them like drums, like this. All the Taliban had their shelter, their hideout. There were about 20 mates. Every Thursday night, all the Taliban in the village came to join him here. They spent the night and then left next morning.
Right. Shall I sing?
Go on, recite a poem. You like singing too. Go on then. I'm not watching you.
Mullah Omar never completely banned music. Since the jihad, the Taliban have had the right to sing of God and war.
Today in Moscow, Mikhail Gorbachev has officially announced the withdrawal of Soviet troops. Despite everything, the Soviets have honored all their promises. They will have withdrawn 57,000 men. It hasn't taken long, the Soviets have hardly turned their backs, and there are the first skirmishes of a fratricidal war. Demoralization, intimidation, a cruel first course to the final phase of a 10-year-old war.
In 1990, the Mujahideen were victorious, but tore each other apart to get power. It was a civil war. Mullah Omar laid down his arms and took up his studies. Powerless, he stood and watched the country being pillaged by the warlords.
So I actually filmed a sequence in one frame. I actually had 3 buses all being robbed at the same time by 3 different gangs in one frame. And that's what life was like in Afghanistan. For the normal citizens, driving around was a nightmare because so many guns left over from the war, so many people that fought during the jihad but then had nothing afterwards, so turned to robbery and banditry.
Kandahar was then just a field of ruins overrun by pillagers, bitterness and bad memories.
In Kandahar, it was the worst. Pedophilia started. Commanders had their little boys. Some even married them. They killed hundreds and thousands of people. How did they do it? Do you want to know what horrors they committed? Well, for example, they cut heads off. They sewed them back on the still warm bodies, which were twitching. They called it the dance of death.
The rumor is that it all came from Mullah Omar himself, that he woke up and thought, I need change. Later on, they talked about that he saw the revolution in the dream. But really, what happened is different. The beginning of the movement starts with the drugs lord. He said, I will offer you my militia, you can get it. I will offer you all my cars, all my weapons, everything you need. Also, the smart thing is that the drugs leader arranged crucial support of tribal leaders in the area. And that's why Mullah Omar tried. But it was a very risky operation.
It's autumn, 1994. Omar and his mullah friends and their students pour into Kandahar. Welcomed as saviors by a population that had been bled white, their success surpassed all their expectations. In a few weeks, they took the south of Afghanistan. In 3 months, a third of the country. In 6, they were at the gates of Kabul. In Kandahar, the population saw him as a new king. Therefore, he had the right to a supreme privilege. He may receive the mantle that is said to have been worn by the Prophet.
I'm the 7th guardian of the sanctuary. My son will be the 8th. The king gave the safekeeping of the mantle to my grandfather because he had managed to open the chest without touching it. Ever since, we've inherited this task. This is the door of the sanctuary. The mantle is inside in a great chest, which contains a second chest. Then a third smaller one in white gold. But you may not see it. It can only be opened by order of the king.
On the 4th of April, 1996, he opened them for Mullah Omar. He handed him the sacred cloth with its miraculous powers.
The mantle has no color. When several people look upon it, one will tell you it's red, another blue, a third that it's black. Each one will see it differently. You will never see its true color.
It's the second time in a century that the mantle has been taken out. Mullah Omar displays it to legitimize his power. The moment was caught by a camera, the only one that ever filmed the leader of the Taliban.
It's a bit like, having a World Cup in your town and everybody was obsessed with football, so they all went to it. And when he took out the cloak, it's a bit like when your team's about to score a goal, everybody's transfixed with what's going on. And that gave me the opportunity to secretly film Mullah Omar because everybody was focused on him, bringing out the cloak.
When I took it out of the chest, I told Mullah Omar to wear it and go and pray. When we pray towards Mecca. But he was so moved that he remained facing east. I had to say to him, Mr. Mullah, turn and face the other way.
Mullah Omar became the emir of the believers, last Caliph of Afghanistan.
واجب بالعزل وبولي فها قدام بزد استفاق وهم فها قدام بزيس كيجم يامي باليوم مسؤولية رابك شويني بالترلاس بمنيشي طالبان وتوبة سمجت محترم بين خزا وطالبان وتبوشرا محترم وطالبان وتقولي بخوض محترم وطالبان وتشاريشو الله أكبر جار الله أكبر.
In Afghanistan, the number of a man's wives goes hand in hand with his social status. It was time for Mullah Omar to choose a second wife. It was whispered that he would go and choose Guliana, a former pupil from Sangisar. Ahmed was one of his kindred.
After the jihad, he had just one son called Yaqub. He had his wife and this Yaqub. After that, he took a second wife.
And was this second wife from here?
Yes, from here.
Is she from your family?
We're cousins, yes, but enemies. Guliana didn't even know the alphabet. That's why she went to his lessons. He fell in love with her, but she was too young. It was much later that he married her. Mullah Omar was here, and her house was there.
It's amazing.
Mullah Omar as a tender and patient lover. It would be almost touching if his regime hadn't become a symbol of the oppression of women. Ahmad didn't want to be seen too long with Westerners in Sangisar. He could have been accused of being a spy. He joined us in Kandahar the next day.
In fact, my cousin is going to marry the daughter of Guliana and Mullah Omar. I made the request myself. I went to her family a year ago to talk of marriage. They also have a son, Khalil.
And they are always with their mother?
No, all his sons are in a high-level madrasa. They never go home anymore.
Even in the evening?
No.
Where?
In Quetta.
They're in Quetta.
Where do you think he is, Mullah Omar?
Listen, his son, who is 14 or 15, whenever he watches the telly or the internet and he sees a middle-aged man, he asks his uncles if his father might be the same age. So how could I possibly know where he is?
Maybe we can try and go to Quetta just to have a look at that madrasa where Mullah Omar's son is studying. Whether, I mean, it's true or not. If it's just a trip.
It is actually the best reason to go to Quetta, so we have a reason to go.
After 1994, the Afghan Taliban, who had mainly taken refuge in Quetta, in neighboring Pakistan, came to support their brothers in arms. 4 years later, 90% of Afghanistan was pacified. Mullah Omar thought he was doing the right thing. For example, he left the erudite religious leaders to restore order. Criminality, finished. Opium, finished. Peace had returned. Yes, with the help of prisons, amputations, death sentences. Gambling, Western fashions, music were all banned. Rural traditions invaded Afghanistan. I was presented to Mullah Omar's inner circle. They told me that as I was an Afghan woman and that I helped the population, I had the right to continue my work. I went from district to district without payment to help women. It was good to be able to work with other women, to treat sick women. But we could neither speak with men nor work with them. That was the real problem.
First, it's not only the Taliban that suppressed women in this country. You know, they were suppressed before the Taliban came around. So so that's a misconception. You know, and today, you don't find a lot of women having a free love, doing what they want to do. You know, that's a cultural thing. You know, the Taliban were very much in tune with their own culture, and the suppression of women in Afghanistan is a cultural thing. It's not a religious thing.
It was a complex story, and one where you constantly had to sift the truth from the lies. So I'll just give you one example. All right, there's a commonly held myth that the Taliban used to cut fingernails off women for wearing nail polish. This wasn't true. When I reported on this, I got accused of being a Taliban lover. There were always good and bad things about the Taliban. They never claimed that it was un-Islamic for girls to learn. They always claimed it wasn't safe for them. There were huge numbers of girls going to school in Kabul, both in home and actual full schools operating. And the Taliban turned a blind eye to that.
We wanted to start a pilot project, for example, 40 plus 40 schools. So we had 40 girls' schools open and 40 boys' schools open, because they always said there had to be equivalents, boys and girls. Fine, why not? You know, it happens in the rest of the world, why not? So anyway, we had a 40 by 40 school program. It was all pretty much signed and sealed. And then, I won't name names, but the UN decided that they wanted all or nothing. Either all the girls' schools in Afghanistan had to open or none. They turned around and said, you see, you're not serious. We can't trust you. Which is absolutely right, because they couldn't trust us because we couldn't deliver.
But the leader of the Taliban didn't get involved in this quarrel about education. He wasn't in Kabul. He governed the country from Kandahar, from the house of the provincial governor. It's still there, in fact. Only the tenants have changed.
What was the Taliban doing with this building?
They were the same as we are taking, for example, they were working here, they were sleeping in these buildings. It was the same as their guest house. It was the same as their workplace. No, they were just living here, but not building the place.
The leader of the Taliban didn't concern himself with peace or war. He devoted himself to his soldiers, who were fighting in the north against the troops of General Massoud, the sworn enemy. He didn't see the rise in the antagonism between the conservatives in the countryside, that he personified, and the town dwellers. He didn't sense the West was more and more against his regime, considered to be obscurantist, and from which they were beginning to want to dissociate. Especially as an enemy of the USA, Osama bin Laden was hiding in Afghanistan. Jamal Ismail, is one of the rare journalists to find himself at the center of the turmoil.
When did you interview Osama bin Laden again?
Osama?
Yeah.
Before 1 week. This was in 98 when I interviewed them, and Mullah Omar did not knew Osama directly. He maybe heard about him, about his participation in Kandahar, Jalalabad fighting and this, and his financial support for Afghan Mujahideen. But now he came to be under his control or in his area. He will be responsible for his security, for his safety.
In May 1998, Jamal was summoned to a press conference. From high up in the Afghan mountains, Osama bin Laden declared war on America. Mullah Omar was furious. He was stuck between the all-powerful Afghan tradition of hospitality and the feeling that he'd been betrayed.
He said, how come he can use my country's soil to declare jihad against America or Israel? How can he misuse his hospitality? So he said, I'm going to call him. How can he do this? He didn't ask me. Should have told me. He's very angry.
The aim of Osama bin Laden and the Arabs was by no means a local one. It had an international agenda. It wanted all Muslim countries to unite under the same Islamic banner. Osama bin Laden had a plan for one united nation. But the Taliban agenda was quite different. It was national. They just wanted to resolve the problems of Afghanistan.
I'm still sure, I'm convinced, that Taliban did not know about bin Laden's or Al-Qaeda's plan to attack America.
September 11th, 2001 accelerated the fall of the Mullah. 2 months later, American bombers pounded Afghanistan. Bin Laden fled. Then the Taliban capitulated. Omar disappeared. No one knows how or where.
Where is Mullah Omar? This is the $24 million question. In my view, there is almost no doubt that he is inside Pakistan. There were rumors a few years ago that perhaps he had moved or been moved to Karachi. And of course, we should remember that it was in 2010 that Mullah Brother, who was ranking number 2 in the movement at that point, at the time of his arrest, was captured in or near Karachi.
Karachi is a megapolis of 20 million people, a noisy, stifling, stinking labyrinth. It's the perfect place to disappear. In its maze of streets, small traders, beggars, and all sorts of jihadists rubbed shoulders. Aziz, a friendly Pakistani journalist, has agreed to take us to the Afghan refugee district. Mullah Omar's deputy and best friend was captured somewhere here.
Baldia is this side. Majar kya hai Baldia. Dangerous is that, dangerous for us and dangerous for outsider, because these areas belongs to a Taliban. Pakistani Taliban also exist here and Afghani Taliban exist here. This area where Mullah Omar also lived, he spent some time here. In 2010, Mullah Omar.
How do you know that he lived here?
According to sources, reliable sources told us Mullah Omar, when he was in Quetta,
so you have to be careful. Driver say.
According to sources, he spent here sometimes also.
Which street?
I don't know which street. It's a very big area, very large area.
Do you think he's still there?
I don't think he's still here in Karachi, because the official, Pakistani official also denied. They also denied that Osama bin Laden was not in Pakistan, but he found in Pakistan.
You might as well look for a needle in a haystack. What did I expect? To come across Mullah Omar by chance? Having a cup of tea? Nothing is resolved in Karachi, quite the contrary. We wanted to go to Quetta, where Mullah Omar's second wife, Juliana, and their children are thought to be living. No one will take us. It's all too sensitive. We're beginning to get tired of our endless journeying, but an Afghan calls from Kandahar. He almost whispers these few words. I found his house. Come. According to him, Mullah Omar lives 2 hours by road from Kandahar, in the South Afghan countryside.
Do you have any pictures on your phone? No. Is there any internet here?
This is Gulagar's house.
Okay.
They say the leader of the Taliban is hiding here under another name, Gul Aga.
He said Ajaga refused. He completely refused. He will not face any kind of journalistic camera.
Can we at least see?
We also said nobody is shooting for him. Nobody is. He said no. Ajaga just refused. And I demanded the number. He gave me wrong number, and he is not ready to give me his number.
You know, maybe it's Mullah Omar who's hiding.
Who?
It's Mullah Omar who's hiding here.
No.
Do you want me to show my face?
What?
We lost everything.
Yeah,
now.
that's an
Do
option. That's an option.
Do you want those questions?
Who did the story? Yeah. Oh, I know his name, Edgar.
Another waste of time. It's not Mullah Omar. I recognize this man. His photo's been going around for a decade. It's all over the internet. He's a lookalike.
It's not you as well, this one.
I will show him.
We are.
Different.
Oh, wait.
Wait,
Mr. Gulaga, is this your photo?
Yes.
What is it?
It is the same picture.
Can you ask?
It's a photo of me. A man came. He said he wanted to take a photo of me over there. You see that house outside? He took my photo over there. It's a photo, see? Like this one of the jihad when I was young. He wanted to take my photo. When I asked him why, he said it was for an American paper because I was a former mujahid. After that, I came out and I put on my turban. I was here, I remember.
Whoa. Leave it. Right?
And he stood over there and he photographed me from that direction.
Gul Aga is in fact flattered to recount his misadventure, but I'm not listening now. I imagine that Mullah Omar is taking shape right there in front of us. He is nothing like the bestiary told in the tales of modern media. He's an Afghan like any other. He too is a prisoner of centuries of war and traditions. The last Caliph of Afghanistan has for the moment chosen the shadows. We didn't find him. But he remains the undisputed guide of the Taliban. He alone could make them lay down their arms. Whether we like it or not, Mullah Omar cannot be dissociated from the future of the country. One day, he will have to agree to speak. Bet, Leslie, and I haven't finished with Afghanistan yet.